Today we're going to be working back downtown once again, trying to fill in some of this empty space that's all around the city area here. And I've been doing a lot of work off camera in between episodes and over the break and stuff like that to try to fill in this city as much as possible. There's so much work to do in this city, and I can't control myself is the best way to put it. I want to populate this whole tile. I want to fill it up as much as possible with buildings and roads and details on every single road and in every single parking lot. And I have to stop myself. I have a problem. Guys. So I'm doing my best to try to fill in as much space as possible, as detailed as possible, without going way too overboard, but I'm having a very difficult time. And I pre-recorded this episode and I pre-recorded the next episode, so hopefully I don't commentate on things that I do in the next episode. It's been a little bit, things in my life have been a little bit chaotic. I'll get into that in a couple of minutes, but I want to talk about what I'm trying to do here on camera first. The main thing is that this space right next to the right-of-way, so in the foreground here we've got our Class 1 tracks. This is what the DBEV is going to interchange with. I picture this as being operated by Conrail at the time, so this is supposed to take place in the early 90s, so it was Conrail. So this empty lot here has been kind of driving me nuts because it's just a big empty space right in the foreground, right at this big main, I guess, sort of intersection, you could say. And it's preventing me from taking some screenshots that I want to take and some cinematics and stuff like that of the city. It's just this big empty area. So I'm trying to close it in, and I had a whole bunch of ideas to put here, and the one that kind of resonated with me the most is to do what I'm doing right here, and that is to make an abandoned lot. And that just seems to fit with the theme, obviously, of the DBEV, that there's a lot of industry that has since come and gone, so to speak. So originally I was going to put maybe like some fast food restaurants here and some other buildings and stuff like that, but I thought maybe another empty lot to suggest that there were some buildings here that were demolished, other railroad buildings that have since been demolished, I should say. And I like the idea of kind of what I did here with the texturing, making the footprint. There was some other stuff I was going to do, and I've experimented with this in other builds, in other locations, even on the DBEV, where I've used like broken up cement textures and stuff like that. But I thought that this was a little bit different, a little bit more interesting, to have it all sort of dirty and grown in. So it's maybe been a really long time since anything has been here, any industry. Instead of there being just a big empty parking lot, because I'm getting tired of the gray. At the end I do a cinematic flyover, and it looks really good. I mean, all the gray, this is real life. Unfortunately, this is what cities look like. There's a lot of pavement and asphalt and concrete and stuff like that. So that is the case, but this just kind of breaks it up for me and adds a little bit more contrast and shape and structure, I guess, to the overall downtown area. But this is going to be the edge of, I think this is the north side. Let me think about that for a second. We're going south side. This is going to be the south side, since the route runs west to east, or east to west, whatever. This is the south side. So this is, I'm putting my foot down, and I'm making this sort of the border of the route on the one side, and I'm trying to not abruptly end the city, because that just seems kind of lazy, I guess, or to me it just, I don't know, it just feels like, okay, well, I have to end it, so I'm just gonna start putting trees down, you know, and that's kind of what I do, but it just feels like not the right thing to do. So while I do that, I do put a whole bunch of trees down and kind of just bookend the edge of the route, and I do that in a few other places. I think in this video, and maybe and definitely in the next one as well. I'm just trying not to bookend it too much. So here I'm putting down the trees, and I think it works. It doesn't feel like the city is just like in the middle of the woods, and the woods are kind of encroaching on the city or anything like that. I would like the city to be bigger, but oh my gosh, this is just so like time consuming. This city is and it's my own fault. It's a demon of my own design, really. I'm making it very detailed, and I'm just going completely crazy with it, and I can't stop myself. So it makes the city that much more difficult and time consuming to actually complete. But the effect is good, and I'm happy with my work. And this is my work, you know. This is what I'm doing. You know, right now I am making this route for me. I do plan to release it, but this is my, and I've said it a million times before, this is me doing like a painting, you know. And I think as I've been building, I've been thinking about this. After I release this route, whenever that's going to be, I'm probably going to keep coming back into this and detailing it more and more for myself, because I really want to put down street signs on every road. I want to put down these road markings all over the place. I want parked cars all over the place. I want more traffic. I want more street signs and traffic lights, and I really want to go crazy with it. But my fear is that if I go overboard, nobody else is going to be able to experience this route, and that kind of scares me a little bit, because I do want to get it out, and I think, you know, releasing the P&B was a really good experience for me to get something that I made out to everybody else, and everybody else seems to be really enjoying it. And this route has been giving me a lot of enjoyment, so I want to be able to share it with people. I could detail this thing down to 1 frame per second if I was just left to my own devices. You know, clearly I'm hand laying roads. I'm really going over the top with some stuff that I really shouldn't be doing. But I want to make sure that I don't make the mistake of going way too over the top, that, you know, you have to have a clone of my computer in order to actually run this thing. So I want to make sure that it's still runnable. And, you know, as far as JR routes go, they're usually built detailed, but restrained, I guess, would be a way to word that, where the details don't spread out too far away from the tracks, and they have a little bit more of a clean, simple design so that they can work on a wide range of computers. And I have kind of just not been keeping that in mind. And I did the same thing on the P&B. I tried to keep it simple, and I just, I guess it's just not my style. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a route in the future where I try to take my time a little bit and do things a little bit more simply. Okay, so what am I working on this part of the screen? So this section here, again, I'm trying to expand my way down to this would be the eastern end. Yeah, so we're going across the old interchange, and trying to figure out how I can wrap this area up as well. And I'm kind of inspired by, well, right now, so I'm going to get into this part in a minute again, but I am going to be moving back down to New York City in the next, actually probably by the time you're watching this video, I'll be in moving back down to the city. So that's been at the top of my mind a lot recently, and for some reason this section of road just kind of reminded me of like Brooklyn Heights and some parts of Brooklyn that I used to live in and visit and walk through. So that was kind of my inspiration here, and so I built a nice big sidewalk, and I do add some, like, a tree line section. So I kind of picture these as being some more like upscale-y, frou-frou kind of apartments. I don't want to say luxury apartments, but, you know, nice brownstones. I was hoping for some real brownstones on the download station or anywhere else, and I couldn't find anything that really looked good. There were some, you know, photo boxes. That's what I like to call them, is like just a box mesh with, you know, a photograph of the thing on it, and that just doesn't cut it for me. I mean, these are these photo boxes, some of these buildings, but they're not as bad as the brownstone ones that I came across. So if you guys know of any nice brownstone ones that you'd see in like Brooklyn or like Chicago and stuff like that, let me know, because that is I would love to have like a brownstone neighborhood. But that was my inspiration for this section. And again, just adding a lot of these road markings down, and just really, this adds a lot to it, in my opinion. When I've been kind of flying around and doing work on it, I'm just like, wow, this almost looks like Google Earth. And I shared a couple images to my Twitter recently, and I think maybe my Instagram on Instagram stories, where I just took some aerial photos, and we'll get some in the outro cinematics as well, that are just I don't know. It doesn't look like Trainz, and I think we're all so used to seeing the spline roads, the regular old spline roads in Trainz, that to actually see something that has natural, like realistic shapes to it is like a real breath of fresh air. So I'm really enjoying how this looks, and it's a lot of work, but I think the payoff is worth it. I think you guys will agree. Like once I get some traffic on here and get things actually running, it's a real treat, and it looks really nice. All right, so enough about all of that for a moment. I just want to make a little announcement here. I am now going to be moving out of Rochester back down to New York City in the middle of February. So I've pre-recorded this episode, and I pre-recorded the next one, and I'm going to try to get another one and another tutorial, and maybe I'm going to get a couple things pre-recorded, hopefully. I'm trying my hardest to get things pre-recorded, so during my transition from here down to the city, I have some content going. Now, originally, I put a post on the YouTube stories thing. I don't even know what you call it, the community section on my page, just kind of announcing that there might be a gap in videos and, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And there is definitely still going to be a bit of a gap in my videos. Originally, I didn't have an apartment to move into, but we found a place, so we're going to just be moving out of one apartment and into a new one. As opposed to, I was expecting to have to couch surf at my friend's house for a little bit. So we're not doing that part of it. So I hope to be able to get set up and get back into the video making and route building and stuff like that sooner than later. But there will be probably a few weeks span where you might not hear from me, or you'll hear from me kind of really sparsely and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that you guys know that. I'm not going to go into a lot of the details. I remember when I moved out to Rochester, I did almost like a whole episode on, you know, what was going on. So I'm going to spare you all those details, but just know I'm going to disappear for a little bit, but I'll be back. Things are going to get a little bit crazy in my life for a little while. I'm going to be working off camera where I can and when I can, and hopefully it won't be too long before I can get back in. And I might do some live streams and stuff like that in between to sort of fill up some of the gaps in regular video content, because it might be a little bit difficult for me to actually sit down and record. So that's the plan there. There was something else that I was going to mention about that too, and it's totally slipped my mind. But I'll be taking a little bit of a break. I'm going to do an Instagram stories tour of my setup as it is before I break it down, and I'll probably do another setup tour once I get set up in my new place. So the other thing that I was going to mention is that the job that I'm going to be working at, so I'm not going to be living back in the city. I'm going to be living about an hour outside of the city in northern New Jersey area. So it's going to be like an hour commute each way on the train. So that is going to have a little bit of an impact on my schedule and my ability to do live streams and my ability to do videos. Hopefully it's not that big. This is still going to be my focus as much as possible. But there's gonna be a bit of an adjustment period, I guess is really what I'm trying to say. So not only will I be disappearing for a little tiny bit, due to the fact that I'm just not gonna have a computer set up to be able to make videos, it's gonna take me a little bit to figure out what my new schedule is gonna be, because right now I'm really spoiled. I work like 9 to 4:30. You know, I have like tons of free time before and after work, and my new job is going to be 9 to 6 with an hour commute each way. So I'm going to be losing a whole bunch of recording time and that sort of thing. So hopefully it doesn't impact me too much. I'm not going to give up or anything like that. I'm going to make it work in some form and fashion, one way or another. But that's that. If you got any questions, your best way to stay in contact with me is going to be Twitter, Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it too much. And if you're on the Discord, if you want to get on my Discord, it's invite only. Just shoot me a direct message via Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think you can message me through YouTube, but it's an invite only Discord, so just make sure it's a private message. Don't leave a comment and expect me to put the link down in the like a comment response or something like that. I'm trying to keep the Discord invite only because we've had some shady characters pop in here and there in the past, but I will give you the link if you PM or DM me or whatever it's called. All right, anyway, back to the last segment here, the last time-lapse segment on in this video before we get into some cool cinematics. As has been the theme of this whole video, we're trying to expand this area, and this is another section that has been kind of annoying me a little tiny bit in its emptiness. So I figured I'd put in a parking lot. You know, why not? So, in fact, a lot of the video that I took of this got cut out, mainly because the Bandicam quit without me even realizing it while I was recording. So I ended up missing a whole bunch of this section of it, but honestly, you didn't miss much. So basically, I'm putting in a large parking lot here. Again, maybe there was another big factory building or something like that that has been demolished, and this became sort of a municipal parking lot is the way that I'm picturing it for the downtown area. There's a lot of offices and apartments and buildings and stuff like that, and not a whole lot of parking. So I think that this works pretty well, and it kind of balances out the other side of the tracks where the apartment is and where the junction for the DBEV kind of pops off the main line. So I think that balances out pretty nicely, and I'm pretty happy with that. It gives you a pretty nice view of the Trainz too, which you'll see during the cinematics. But here's the part where it kind of gets cut off, and we're going to jump into a really cool flyover, I think, of the city. And I think that this just looks great. You know, I had to speed this clip up for the sake of time. But so far, I mean, this is looking cool. Like, look at those crosswalks and the roads, and everything just looks really, really real, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you can only say so much from this sort of angle because you're not seeing a lot of the other details and stuff like that. But I like where it's going. I like that the roads kind of pop in and pop out in terms of their texture and the lines, and not all of the roads are perfectly lined up in a grid. They're in a grid, but they're not directly across from each other in a 90-degree fashion. You know, some of them don't line up perfectly, and I think that adds a lot of shape to the overall look of the map. So here's the rest of the cinematics. These are some reskins that I've been working on for the DBEV. So this caboose here, ex-Conrail caboose that has been patched up for the purposes of the DBEV. I really like that. I think that it's only going to be used for like maintenance of way operations. And here is our SW1500 that we're going to be using. So I've been running this just in its regular Conrail scheme. And like I said, I wanted to patch it up and dirty it up kind of like that RS1. So that's the plan with that one, and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. And you guys let me know in the comments below what you think about it. But I really love the weathering that I put on it. The patchwork, I think, looks really great. The sun-bleached roof is probably my favorite part. I'm really proud of how that turned out, so try to get a good look at that during the cinematics. But that's going to do it for me for today. Like I said, I've got some more stuff are pre-recorded now and some other stuff that I'm trying to pre-record. So I definitely have another episode, which I'm probably going to do the voiceover for right now, as a matter of fact. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the episode, please leave a like and a comment below. Make sure to subscribe. If you want to do the Patreon thing, there's a link somewhere, probably in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.